This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, welcome to the demo session on SAP S4 Fashion. The business models are getting changed compared to the past and present. That's how the S4 Fashion solution has come into the picture. If we see the traditional business models, we used to have a single system that is in SAP ECC called AFS system for apparel and fashion solution, which will cater the requirement for the wholesale and manufacturing processes. And we also had a separate system for IS retail. Basically, this is for the retail operations. Right? Like say, for example, a particular customer is dealing with the retail operations, he is having the retail stores, then he can use the IS retail solution. Like say a particular customer is doing the manufacturing of apparel and footwear, and he's having the wholesale businesses where he's distributing the stocks to the retailers, he can have the AFS solution. Now, as I was mentioning, the business models are getting changed. When I say that, the retailers are coming with their own brands, and say the wholesalers where they're manufacturing their product and they are coming into the market with their own retail stores, with their own retail outlets. Now, in the industry, there's a requirement of a solution which will cater the wholesale operations, the manufacturing facility, also the retail solution. That's where SAP S4 Fashion come into the picture, where you can have all the three functionalities in a single system instead of having two different systems, two different solutions. S4 Fashion will cover all these three functionalities. So what happens? If you have a single system, you can have the better focus on the customers, and you can expand your sales channels, and you can successfully maintain the strong branding, and you can have the private label growths. And that's what we are talking about. It supports the optimized multiple channels of manufacturing, wholesale, and retail. Now let's talk about what is S4 Fashion. Basically, S4 Fashion is a comprehensive ERP solution designed to help the fashion business to meet the demand of the digital economy. With a simple and intuitive interface, it provides the fashion companies to access to every aspect of their business. When I say the every aspect of the business, it may be manufacturing, it may be wholesale processes, it may be a retail operations. Now, when you're talking about the key capabilities of this particular solution, you can have a single set of master data. When I say this, if you have two different systems, like say wholesale and manufacturing, like AFS, and retail operations as IS retail system, then you need to maintain two different master data in two different systems. But in S4, as you have all the three functionalities in a single system, you can just maintain one single master data. And you can have the global inventory visibility. You can see what is the stock available for the different materials with different variants. And you can have a common sourcing and buying and manufacturing facilities. And you can maintain how you would like to have the requirement segment versus to the SOP segments. So we have something called the requirement segments, which will generate from the sales requirements, and you have something called the stock segmentation, which will come from the purchasing or from the manufacturing stocks. And we have something called the supply assignment. Basically, we used to call this as an allocation run in AFS system or in fashion management system. And of course, the core season functionalities like the seasons, season workbench, you have the validated services, MSOs, multi-shift orders, the size value conversions, all those core fashion specific functionalities has been enhanced in S4 Fashion solution. Let us see the topics, what are all the core concepts that we have. We're talking about, like say, the article master, starting with the master data. So we have the article master, which talk about the generic articles and variant articles with the different dimensions. And we have the segmentation, right? All the applications at order to cash and procurement processes, you can have the segmentation functionality. We have something called the supply assignment, basically at the sales order level. When I say the supply assignment, it is basically the allocation run, and it has been enhanced with the different tools. You will see in detail going forward with the different slides. And we have the seasons, the season processing. So it is very important fashion in the fashion industry. Each product related to a particular season, then you can have the better control on how and when you'd like to deliver this particular product, how you want to order this particular product, those master data dates that we can maintain it. SAP S4 system is capable to handle the value-added services and multi-shift orders and characteristic value conversions and distribution curves, as well as application variants. Now let us talk about the business partner. Basically, the business partner, like the business partner is capable of centrally managed master data for business partners, customers, and vendors. We used to maintain two different transactions. Say, if I want to have a customer master, we'll go to X301 and maintain the customer master. If I want to create a vendor master, we'll go to that separate transaction and create a vendor master. Now, the business concept, the business partner concept is we can have a centrally managed master data for your customers, also for the vendors. Basically, this is the single point of entry to create and edit and display the master data. Here, we also maintain the fashion-specific data tabs to cater the requirement of the fashion industry inside the BP. BP is the transaction code to create the business partner. And when we're talking about the business partner, there is something called the business partner categories. Means the business partner that you are creating can be a person, can be an organization, can be a group. So based on the business partner categories that you are selecting while you are creating it, the roles can be selected. When I say the roles, basically you can select the business partner role as a customer, business partner role as a vendor, and when you select the BP, you can maintain the generic data which is applicable for the vendor as well as the customer. We can also maintain the sales area specific customer master data, or say the purchasing related vendor master data, and the company code specific master data for customer, also for the vendor. Now, when you're talking about the article master, basically the article master contains the data for all the individual products that a particular company is purchasing or sell or produces. And In S4 Fashion, the article master has been enhanced with the fashion specific data views and data fields to gather the requirement of fashion industry. When I say this, like say for example, in the basic data 2 of the article master, you can see the segmentation related fields. You can specify whether this article is relevant for segmentation. If yes, what is the segmentation structure and what's the segmentation strategy? You can also maintain the fashion attributes of the article. You can also maintain the segmentation related seasonal data for this particular article master. First thing we'll say, hey, whether this particular article is relevant for seasons or not relevant for seasons. If it is the relevant for season, then we can specify what is the season, year, collection, theme, and you can also maintain which stage it is, like whether this is a creation stage or rollout stage or fade out, what it is. Similarly, we also maintain the data related to the supply assignment. If you can go to the logistics DC2 view of article master, we can maintain whether this particular article master is relevant for allocation run or not, whether this is relevant for batch management or not. And I can also maintain what is the default segmentation that I would like to have for this particular article master. Right? And talking about the segmentation as such as a topic, basically the segmentation offers the possibility to categorize the demand as well as supply based on logical and physical aspects of the product. When I say the physical aspect of the product, basically talk about, hey, the quality. I can have the first quality product, second quality product, and say the third quality product. So as a structure, what happens? First, we define the characteristics of the segmentation and we maintain what all the different segmentation values I would like to have. Then we define the segmentation structure and the strategy and we link these characteristics inside the segmentation structure, and the segmentation structure, also the strategy, both will link in the article master. And we have two kind of parameters here. Like say, for example, we have something called the stock segmentation, and we have something called the requirement segmentation. When I say the stock segment comes in form of say purchase requisitions, purchase orders, or say the purchasing contracts, planned orders, and say the production orders. This is where the stock is determined. When I say the requirement segmentation, the requirements are getting generated in form of sales orders, fashion contracts, and STOs. So how we'd like to map between the requirement segment to the stock segment is something which is determined in the segmentation strategy. We can set it up our own basic rules, how we want to supply this. And accordingly, when you are creating the sales order, the system will determine the values. I can also set up, hey, when I'm creating the sales order, what would be my default segmentation value inside my sales order, or say inside my purchase order, or say inside my production order. You can maintain those values as well. So in SAP S4 Fashion, the segmentation has been enhanced. Most of the transactions like purchasing, production, and sales. Talking about the sales order processing in SAP S4 Fashion, the sales order screen has been enhanced with the requirement segment fields, the seasons, and say the size value conversions. Basically, we talk about the characteristic value conversions. You can see the functionalities or the fields or the values related to the distribution curves, related to the application variants. And there is something called the sales order document overview, which you can see the header related data, item related data, also the schedule lines related data in a single screen. Instead of going to the header level, item level, and say the schedule line level to view the different data, you can have a single point of view. And let us talk about value added services. Basically, VAS stands for value added services, and it's an operation performed on the materials which will enhance their functionality or the usefulness of the product. We have three kinds of value added services. And based on the customer request, we can specify or we can add any kind of service in the sales order. Of course, we can also, when I'm procuring the product, I can also specify the value-added services in my purchase order. Basically, what I'm expecting extra from my vendor, we can specify there. But in terms of sales, if my customer is requesting something extra apart from the normal product, we can cater that particular requirement here. When I say the three kind of VA services here, like say, I have something called the special handling. The example could be putting the shirts on the hangers. Let's say I'm delivering the shirts to a particular customer, and the customer is asking, hey boss, when you're delivering it, please unpack that and put it in the hangers and put it on the display. I can have this. So when I'm delivering the, say for example, 100 shirts to my customer, I also supposed to deliver 100 hangers, and we can charge this, or we can give this free, and we can deliver hangers, also the shirts to the customer. So basically the S4 Fashion system is capable enough to handle both the scenarios, like if you want to charge any of the VA services to the customer, yes, we can do this with the help of the charge codes. And if you want to give it free of charge, we can do that. The second service could be something like the ticketing and labelings. Basically, this is talking about the brand labels, size labels, etc. And the customer may ask for extra labels, or the customer may ask them saying that, hey, give me a MRP tag, like say, for example, showing the MRP as $99, and maybe now with a big into mark, and now you can specify the new sales price, or say the discounted price, you say, for example, $79 instead of $99, right? We can have those labelings in the product. But we also have something called the special packing services, kind of like say gift boxes, plastic bags, and extra plastic wrappers, something like this, just to avoid the damages or maybe avoid the pilferages, things like that. You can specify those. Like say, for example, a particular customer is ordering say 500 t-shirts to distribute those to their employees. They may ask you to pack each t-shirt into a separate gift box and deliver it. You can handle this as special packing services. Similarly, talking about the seasons concept, if you can see, season form an important aspect of the product life cycle in the fashion industry. Most of the products, except very few products, most of the fashion products are related to a season. So the production, or say the procurement, or say the sales of fashion wear is determined according to the season for which it is manufactured. Like say, for example, when I say the seasons, it may be a summer, winter, fall, etc. You cannot have the same merchandise throughout the year. The products in the stores will get changed according to the season. And in S4, the season is divided into 4 different layers like the season year, season, collection, and theme. In AFS, we used to have 3 layers, now it is in the 4 layers. And the season window, we can maintain, hey, what is my order window, what is my delivery window, what is my sales window. You can maintain, basically talking about from when to when you would like to order this product, when to when you can deliver this product, or say when to when you would like to do the sales for this particular product. We can maintain. Similarly, we can maintain the seasons for the procurement, seasons for the production as well. That's what I'm talking about here. When I say the applications, the seasons are related to purchasing, sales, and production. And we can maintain all this in a single transaction called seasons workbench, FSH _SWP. Let us talk about MS4's multi-ship to orders. When I say the multi-ship to orders, this will allow to capture the demand of an article for one or more than one ship to parties, without the need of creation of multiple line items of that particular material in the sales order. Means when I'm creating the sales order, I can just enter a single line item with the quantity, and that can be delivered to the multiple ship to parties. Here, I have something called main sales order. We have something called the child sales order. We create a main MSO. Basically, this order for different ship to parties in a single document. And once we create it, we explode this. And when we explode it, the system will create the child orders for each ship to party. And with reference to the child order, we can create the delivery document and the billing document. So with reference to the main MSO, you'll not be able to do the delivery, but yes, we'll do this with reference to the child order. Right? So basically this screen is showing it like when you explode the main MSO, how the system is generating the child MSOs. Right? Again, this is the core business functionality of fashion industry, which is taken from AFS system. Right? And we have something called the characteristic value conversions. Basically, in S4 Fashion, it is very important to have same physical size called by the different scales in the different countries. In certain countries, this is a legal requirement where you need to maintain the international sizes and the product. Like say, for example, when I say the characteristic value conversions, the requirement is like say the same physical product in different countries, we call it as in a different sizes. Example, if you can take here the US size and the UK size, let's say for example for shoe, or in UK we call this the 8 size, the same thing is called as 10 in US. So if you take any shoes, you can see the international sizes got printed there. Like in UK, this is the size, in US, this is the size, like that you can find out. So this is what I'm talking about. UK sizes versus US sizes. We can maintain this size value conversions actually. And when we create the sales order, and say when you create the purchase order or say the delivery, most of the places you can see the size value conversion indicators there, the characteristic value conversion indicators there. Let us talk about the supply assignment. It's a huge topic in S4. This was allocation run in AFS system or say in FMS system. Basically, the supply assignment to talk about the optimal assignment of supply to the requirements is what controlled by the allocation run or in the supply assignment. Basically, this is a tool which will help us to distribute the available quantities to the open requirements based on our priorities, based on our rules, or based on our configs that we do. In S4, mostly they brought into from configuration to the easy access screen level. On the fly, the user can select the different parameters, different selections there, and you can do the allocation. So let me explain. Supply assignment ensures an optimal assignment of supply to the open requirements and distributes the available quantity to the respective sales orders. Right? And in AFS, the ARUN has to perform for all the fashion materials, but in S4, it's an optional. We can set this at the site level, also at the article master level, saying that, hey, whether this particular site is relevant for allocation run or not, that is, whether this particular site is relevant for supply assignment or not. And we also maintain this in the article master level, saying that whether this particular article is relevant for supply assignment or not. Now, we have something called the insight to action tool. Basically, it's a single transaction where you can do the multiple activities here. When I say the multiple activities, you can do the assignment, you can do the allocation here, you can release the requirements, you can block the requirements, and you can create a delivery from this particular screen. You can see the stocks. Basically, I'm talking about the stock overview of a particular line item of the sales order. You can send a mail to the concerned person in case if you need to take certain action from there. Right? And we used to have separate transactions in AFS for all this. And you can do a single transaction, and it has been enhanced in SAP S4 Fashion to have all these functionalities basically. And let's talk about the distribution curves. Basically, the distribution curve are objects that hold quantity distribution ratios across the variant creating characteristics. When I say this, say for example, for each of the variant, I'd like to maintain the sizes and the values, how my customer will be placing the order for this particular product. Right? So basically, we can use the distribution curves to distribute the quantities across different variants of the quantity for a particular generic article. And when I enter the generic article, the system will automatically distribute, okay, 40 size this much quantity, 42 size this much quantity, and say 44 size of a particular product, no, this much quantity. Automatically it will distribute. You really need not to enter the quantities at the sales order for each of the variant. Right? And we use this functionality in the sales orders, purchase orders, stock transfer orders, PARs, etc. And this is what we're talking about. Of course, we go and maintain the master data, saying that, hey, for this particular product, these are all my variants, and what is the ratio that I would like to have when I'm placing the order for this. So that when you go for the distribution cost, each size, automatically the quantities will get distributed. We also have something called the application variants. And basically this talk about application variant control or restrict of variants of an article for which sales order or purchase order or STO cannot be created. Means this is something like listing and exclusion functionality that we have in ECC. But there at main product level itself we can do. But in S4 what happens, like say for example I have a product which is having 2 colors and say 3 different sizes. Now whatever may be the reason, because of the competition or because of any of the business reason, a particular variant I don't want to sell in a particular sales or level or say to a particular customer. You can maintain those and restrict this actually. So that's what we are explaining here. You do not want to sell the sizes of XS and double XL for a particular sales area or a specific time period or for a particular customer. And we can maintain or we can activate these variants for that particular sales area. And this is how it is looking here, right? And once we activate this, the system will not allow you to create a sales order for those variants which is activated with the application variant, right? And we also cover the SAP Fiori apps, right? So SAP Fiori is the design language that brings great user experience to the enterprise applications. If you can see, based on the user role and the business process, SAP Fiori simplifications can be done here. And I just given some of the tiles as an example, and all the fashion specific functionalities, you have a separate tile, and we can search them by FSH underscore and star, and it will show you most of the fashion tiles actually. When I say the most of the fashion tile, I can say I can have a separate tile for the allocations. I can have separate tile for the distribution curves and say application variants and say value-added services master data, and we can have this based on the tile. We can have the sales analytical reports, and we can do much more. Right, and we are also talking about as part of this training, we give the training, we provide the config document and say the study notes, and we also provide S4 1909 server to do the practice. And you can reach us at r.sashikiran@gmail.com or sashikiran@sndinfotech.com. Right? If you are interested, please let us know. We can arrange a demo session for this. Thank you very much for watching this. And we also provide the customized notes for each of the topic that we cover. And this is the list of the topics that I have, where you will get the PDF document of the notes for each of these particular topics, which is prepared by me based on the experience. And this particular document, right, contains the cheat code, path, the screenshots, and the explanation for each of the fields that you can do it. Let's say, for example, I'll open the sales document processing notes, and this talk about how the document structure is, how we can do this is, and what is the different areas that we have, how we can do the configuration. Each and every aspect of the requirement is covered in the documents. Thank you so much.